review this then. It's a Hotpoint WD41 Microprofile 1400 washer dryer Aquarius Ultima, also known as a Hotpoint Aquarius Microprofile. You know what? Them words are often scattered around differently on the same model. It's weird. There's two different types of WD42s, for example. So there you go. Anyway, let's focus on this one. Now, this appears to be a very mid-90s Hotpoint Aquarius Ultima Microprofile 1400 washer dryer, of course. So it actually does have the Aquarius timing that is found on, say, like a WM31, for example, or a WM, So, how is it? Right, so this naturally comes with a heat shield, but it's taken off just so you can actually see the drum. That sits in there naturally. But we're not having that. Anyway. Right, we'll start at the top then. Now, it's very odd to get one of these. It's a drawer lock. And what it does, it fires a pin when this is turned to stop the drawer from being opened. However, these often break, and it's a little bit pointless, I think. I think the idea around it is that it stops small children, for example, opening the drawer when it's filling up with water, because if you do on these, it would often flood out round the front of the machine, which is no good on your kitchen floor. We've also got on and off button here. We're also having a key lock. So once you turn the key lock one way, it will stop the button being pressed. So obviously if it's switched on, it will remain forever switched on. If it's switched off, it will remain forever switched off until it's unlocked. Same with the door release. Now the door is released using a system inside, so you have to press that button to open the door. So of course, if you want to stop your children from climbing inside, for example, you can lock that. It has got an internal door lock mechanism when it's up and running, so pressing that button normally within the cycle will not open the door. Your programs are listed here at the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The quick wash, the mix wash, and it's even got special programs. Now, it's got pre-wash there, however, you can't actually select it as a separate program. It's got rinse and delicate spin as well. 3 rinses and super spin, delicate spin, and then drying. Right. Here's where it gets a bit confusing. If you want to select drying only, you have to turn the machine on, not select any programs at all. So you've got to make sure it's on 0. Once you select this, you can't go back to 0. You can't, it's just impossible. But not only that, you can't then select drying programs. So you would have to then reset the machine if you want drying only. Drying progs here. Now, it does sound like it's got sensor dry, but unfortunately it hasn't. Basically, you get the choice. Cottons and synthetics at full heat, or acrylics at low heat. And then you've got a choice of drying time from 15 minutes in 5-minute steps all the way up to 120 minutes, which is in line with the... Actually, come to think of it, that's not in line with the mechanical timers, because the two-way timers didn't really appear on the WD41, which was after this. So actually a bit ahead. Right. Anyway, if you want to wash only, you select the program you want. and make sure that the drying program is switched off. That will allow you to do wash only. If you want to do a wash and dry, select your wash program, then select drying program, and you can have cotton synthetics at full heat or acrylics at low heat. And believe me when I say this, this is available on every single program. It doesn't matter whether you, in fact actually let's just quickly go to it. If you go to program 6, which is acrylics, you can select cottons and synthetics. Yeah. Right, first program from selecting from 0 will always be the quick wash. Light soil, the rinses are not available, but rinse hold is. You can have drying, of course, you can have drying time, and you got delay hours as well. This allows up to, when we get there, 18 hours to be selected. If I select this once, the little bell icon goes off, but all the beeping still happens. Does this turn off the final beeper? I think it does. But I've never actually tried it out. Maybe I should try it out. No, I won't try it out this time. Still. Right, so the quick wash washes at 40 degrees and allows a 0.9 kilogram load, 2 pounds, of lightly soiled laundry to be washed and spun in that time. One problem, I just used it literally just before filming this and it took 55 minutes. Ouch. Not 30 minutes as it states in the manual. Mix wash allows you to wash 2 kilograms of mixed fabrics like synthetics and cottons together. And what it does is basically a 4-hour long soak at 40. You can't skip ahead. So once you want to continue the cycle, you got to turn off the machine, turn it back on, select rinse and delicate spin, and repeat the process 2-3 times to rinse and spin your laundry. That's a faff. No thank you. Anyway, 2 kilograms can be washed and dried. It does take 4.5 hours. Right, program 1 is cotton, white cotton at 95 degrees. It allows 4.5 kilo, that's £10 in all money, to be washed and spun, rinsed and spun. It allows 4.5 kilogram or £10 in all money to be washed, rinsed and spun. Right, now if we look at this button here, we've got wash and it comes up as normal. This is on pretty much every program going. If you select profile, the temperature drops to 60. What this does is actually runs a bioprofile wash and that has a longer wash phase. So this allows the detergent to be in contact more with the clothing at a lower temperature for longer, which means that it should get the same results as it would do at 95 with energy savings. Light soil, on the other hand, is basically a quick wash version of the 95 degree program. And instead just gets up to 60 and continues. It's also known as the energy saving feature. So basically the normal cycle is heavy soil as it was on the old Hotpoint series. Then you got normal with a pre-wash. Pre-wash adds on, according to the manual, around 30 minutes. In reality, it actually adds on about 20 minutes. And you can have it with profile wash as well. Right, rinses. Now, I'm pretty sure standard does just 3 rinses, not 4. unlike the timer versions. So normal, reduce takes off a rinse, so it does 2, and extra adds on a rinse, so it does 4. Although neatly, it does do intermediate spins at 800, so it's not too bad. Rinse hold is just rinse hold. It will stop at the end of the final rinse before the final spin. You have to deselect it to obviously continue. Then we've got obviously drying programs and minutes and delay hours. Program 2 is Colour Fast Cotton at 60. Again, max load of 4.5 kilo. Again, you can select profile, which will lower the temperature to 50. Light does the same. And then obviously normal pre-wash, etc. as well as variable rinses. Program 3 is white nylon at 60 degrees. Now this will end with a reduced spin phase of up to 800 RPM instead. Okay, so it prevents creasing. Program 3 also runs at 60 degrees. It runs, again, you can have profile or light soil, etc. Same with the rinses. Program times, however, for this are all wildly out. So for me to just say, oh, it takes this long, or it takes this long, is, I can't say that because actually I don't really know. It's not accurate enough. It is running on dual coals, unfortunately, so that will affect how long it takes to heat up. Unfortunately. Anyway, cottons will spin at a maximum spin of 1400 RPM. So programs 1, 2, and 5 will all spin at 1400 RPM. Programs 3, 4, 6, and 8 will spin at 800 RPM. Oh, one program now will also spin at 800 RPM. Mixed wash also spins at 800 RPM, I believe. And machine washable wool, I think, spins at 1000 RPM. But don't quote me. Colour synthetics, again, max load of 2 kg. Oh, forgot to mention. Max load for white nylon, colour synthetics, program 6 acrylics, wool mixtures, and silk and printed acetates, as well as special finished cottons, all have a max load of 2 kg or 4.4 kilo, 4.4 pounds. Profile at this point will lower the temperature by 5 degrees. Program 5, non-fast colours at 40. Profile lowers it by 5 degrees. Same with light soil. You've also got rinse hold as well. Program 6, again, acrylics and wool mixtures, max load of 2 kilograms. Profile lowers it to 35 degrees. Rinses add on 1 rinse, take off a rinse. Program 7, wool. Right, now it changes a bit. Wash. You can have profile, you can have light, but you can't have a pre-wash because it's wool. Rinses. You can't actually change at all. So it does 3 rinses. You can't have rinse hold either. You can't have drying either. The least default is that. Program 8 is silks and printed acetates. Printed acetates are basically printed t-shirts. It runs at 30 degrees. If you select wash, it will lower it to 30 degrees. It's still the same. Profile actually then adds on time instead. And light soil runs at 30 degrees. So it takes off time, surely. Rinses, you obviously can reduce or add it. You can have rinse hold. You can have drying programs. You can have cottons high or acrylics low heat. Made for a max load of 2 kilograms, if I haven't mentioned that already. And program 9, special finished cottons, max kilogram of 2 kilo. Basically, special finished cotton is a program that was basically omitted after this series because by then it was no longer used on care labels at all. Basically, It's used for washing sort of cotton slash synthetics that are very, very easily creased. This includes stuff like linen as well. So linen is very strong and can be dried at a high heat, but it creases very easily. So basically, it effectively runs a white nylon 60-degree program for longer at 95 degrees. Also, just like every other program, you can have a profile wash at 60, you can have light soil, and you can affect the rinses too, as well as have rinse hold. Now, max load for drying though, for special finished cottons is 2.3 kilos, despite the max load for the wash being just 2 kilos. Bizarre. Anyway, that's all your programs and options. This little icon here means audible signal, which I switched off. So basically, the first press of delay always turns off the signal, and if you select delay as well, you can't select it. Which means at the end of the wash cycle, it won't just forever beep at you. Yeah, that's the one thing this does. It just beeps at you at the end of the cycle. Forever. And ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, until you decide to unload the machine. Not sure about that. Maybe it's quite good to have that beeper turned off. Right, so this is the other side of the door. We got our 4.5 kilogram drum. Now, it looks very similar to a WM drum, but actually, believe it or not, on Hotpoint the washer dryers, to keep the depth within limits, the actual drum is indeed 2 inches shorter than it is on the washing machine. Hence why these are rated at 4.5 kilograms, not 5 kilograms. Or 5.5 kilograms as on the later machines. Okay, so we've got 3 holes in the bottom of the door seal here to allow it to drain at the end. But also, something's going on with this drum here. Now we've got drum holes in here. Just a little story. My mum and dad's WD41 when I was a child didn't have these holes in. They were solid. And then on our WD64 we had them in. There's me thinking there was an update. But maybe not. Unless this is out of drum at some point. Right, here at the top here we've got this. This, apart from being a deflector, is actually the entry point for the air to flow through for the dryer. It's quite big actually, so you get a really decent airflow, which is probably why the drying cycle times are so, well, incredibly short for this machine. Right, so this is our detergent drawer here. This little compartment here is if you select the pre-wash option along with your main wash. This is for all your main wash detergents. Yeah, that's 80 ml and it's barely nothing in there. That takes around 400 to 500 ml of powder, probably about 500, whereas the pre-wash probably only takes around 100 or so. The fabric softener compartment only takes around 75 ml, I think. And that goes in there. When you want to clean the machine's drawer out, this just lifts up and lifts out. In fact, you can clean that if you want without really taking the whole drawer out. So when that clogs up, you just take it out, undo that, and hey presto. That's quite neat actually, I like that. The way this machine fills is rather simple. You've got a water inlet for the hot, which goes into the main wash. You've got an inlet for the cold, which goes into the pre-wash, and you've got another cold, which then pushes the water to the fabric softener. If you look at it, it's quite intuitive as well. So if you were to open the drawer at any point, and now that's quite annoying actually. If you open it during a pre-wash, it will go into the fabric softener. It was the wrong way around basically. The later Hotpoints swapped them both around. So basically the fabric softener then became at the back, making it better effectively. Although you end up with a much smaller drawer compartment somehow. I don't know how, considering it's exactly the same design. Literally. Anyway. Right, so every program will fill with hot and cold at the start of the program for the main wash, regardless of what temperature you select it at. Pre-wash will only fill with just cold though. That makes perfect sense since you can't take the main wash detergent along with the pre-wash detergent in the pre-wash. But that also being said, if you select Cotton's 95, it will only fill with hot. And I think Cotton 60 and White Nylon 60 also only fill with just hot. Any temperatures below that, it will fill with hot and cold, regardless of what program you select. Right. If you select a pre-wash, it will fill through the pre-wash with just cold. If you're selecting those lower temperatures, it will fill through the pre-wash and the main wash at the same time for the main wash. So it doesn't matter if you accidentally put some in the pre-wash. Why would you though? It's too small. Right, so when you select tumble drying, it will indefinitely anti-crease. You can actually just end it at any point you want. You just open the door. It resets. And everything is perfectly dry in 65 minutes. That's blisteringly fast. Right, so what to give this washer dryer out of 10 then? Well, I'm actually quite surprised. It's very well built. This one doesn't seem to be shaking like older machines, and I found that the Ultimas, all of the Ultimas I've had, don't seem to bounce anywhere near as much. So this gets a solid 9.5 out of 10 for a washer dryer from the 90s. It's fast, it's quick, it's giving you every program under the sun that you possibly want, including quick wash and mix wash. This for the time was pretty much all you're going to get back then. You've got the variable profile and light soil options, which is great. Again, this is kind of unheard of, really. The only drawback is there's no half load option. But other than that, yeah, what more do you want? Cool. Right, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.